Hello. Just trying to see if I can get a little bit in. This is going to be a really short stream. So if you want to chat, you have to show up early. You're gonna have to be here within 15 minutes of my stream because I'm only going to be going for about 35 minutes or so. So I'm just going to do some touch-ups on a couple of my minis. Nothing too significant. These are a couple of skeletons I've been working on. There's, I've had a couple of short. Let's see, how much time have I spent on these two guys? Let's see. According to this guy, I've been doing skeletons for 2 hours, and they're about done. I do want to. I'm going to put a little bit more of the skeleton bone on them. So I'm going to try to. I just think they're a little too flesh colored, which is fine, sorta. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not ideal. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use the skeleton bone here. All right. Anyway, so no, lately I've been doing Marvel Snap at lunchtime. And I have been neglecting my painting the last few nights. And tonight I can't paint again. Well, maybe I'll paint a little bit tonight. It'll depend on when I get done with my what do you call it? My D&D campaign. I'm DMing some friends and a couple of my son and his wife and a couple of friends in a campaign that has now gone back to Avernus. So, oh yeah, oh, shoot, I didn't really want to. I'm getting ahead of myself. Actually, it may not be so bad. Let's see what happens if I just try to actually apply this stuff. There's dry brushing, but then there's actually applying it, which I think might be better. Let's see what happens. Now, applying it takes longer for sure. But I think in the end, applying it is probably the better way to do this. But because it'll just make them be more friendly. But when I'm doing this, forgive me if I'm not immediately reply to anybody who stops by and says hi, because when I'm doing this I have to be kind of precise. Or it's gonna just basically be me changing the color. Trying not to change the color so much. I may even want to add some medium to that, so that it has a little less dry speed. Let's see, where's my medium? Here. Oh, let's start my timer, huh? This will just let's slow it down a little, maybe. That's kind of the goal. Slow down the drying time, maybe smooth out the paint just a tad. Thin it out maybe. But if you apply it, then I don't have to worry about how the dry brushing goes. this is going to take quite a bit longer, I think, than dry brushing would, as you can imagine, simply because, well, dry brushing is fast. But it's also not an exact science. Sometimes if you have it too wet, it'll kind of get where you don't want it to. Even if you get it really nice and dry, it still can leave you with brush strokes. So it can be really good. Dry brushing's got its goods and bads, but it's just, I think a lot of times, just if you have the patience and the time, which I really don't have the time, but I have the patience. Uh, you can. I think you can get a better effect out of. It's kind of like I'm trying to paint what I can see. Paint what you can see. It's kind of like painting the light. As long as I'm looking down on him. Oh, am I in the picture? I am, but I don't know how good a focus it is. It's seems kind of high, doesn't it? Can't really see exactly what I'm doing here. And when you're using such a small brush, you almost need the medium even more because you're not getting a ton on the brush. And anyway, so hey, have anybody got their Christmas decorations up? It's like no, well, I guess it is that time. Well, no, I haven't. I don't actually put up that many decorations myself. I we put up stuff inside, put up trees, and I'll probably get it up around Thanksgiving. Like last year, I actually got up kind of early. My wife wanted it up early. Thing is, nobody else decorates. It's like they want me to put it up. They want me to take it down. Nobody wants to help, but they all want it up. Say, put up the decorations. It's like, you can help. I mean, yeah, the tree's a little awkward. I'll do that, but you're welcome to put up some of the lights around the room. You're welcome to, put up some of our Christmas whatever decorations around. And then nobody wants to help take it down. It's like, really? Come on, people. I mean, I like decorations, but I don't want to be the only one doing it. If, nobody else wants it up bad enough, it's like, feel free to tell me. We'll just, go light this year. But I don't know. It's hard to. My kids are all, they're adults. So it's like, well, do it for the kids in the past, but now it's like if they don't want it. My wife does it. My wife likes it too, but she doesn't want to do anything either. She don't want to put anything up. And I used to say, well, she bakes the goodies, but she don't even bake the goodies anymore. It's like she wants all the perks, but none of the effort. uh, she's like, yeah, that's good. It's like, when are you gonna make some of the Christmas cookies? I did my part. I got the Christmas. Christmas cookies are work. I get it, but so is putting up all that Christmas stuff. I'm only doing this one guy right now. That's the rate I'm going. I may be the only one I get to work on today, or yeah, today even, because I don't know how much time I'm gonna have left after this one guy. It's funny how I'm trying to do what I've seen the general rule of thumb is to not to not do the line bit, where you do these little choppy downstrokes. Why? Because supposedly that looks it. I mean, all good painters do it this way. They'll occasionally edge, but then they add like sometimes like these little directional lines. I'm like, how do they do that? These ribs aren't exactly, huge. They're like a couple of millimeters long. I'm really just trying to hit it from the top to the top of each rib down to the center point without going all the way to the bottom. These are some crooked ribs. These guy's ribs are not straight. Maybe they bend. They bend. I mean, these guys got some significant ribs. They go all the way down to his hips too. Is that normal? Is that normal for ribs? Do ribs go all the way down to the hips when you bend over? I guess they kind of sort of do, huh? I haven't even finished working on the smoke for these guys, so yeah, it's a rush to finish, but it's not going to be finished. It's a rush to get closer to finished. I said I was going to try to finish these guys up in this little 30-40 minute outing, but I'm thinking I may have been a little over optimistic on that. And I know my stream says Skeleton Brothers. These guys look, I mean, they're from the same set of skeletons, yes. They're probably not brothers though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they didn't come out of this unless they were neighboring gravestones when they got buried. They could have been brothers. And it's like, how do you even know they're men? Well, let's see. Really, I think with skeletons, you can only tell by possibly their hips, their hip bones. How narrow are they? If they're pretty wide or they're wider, they're usually female. If they're narrow, then they're male. So you're like, how do you know that? Well, I don't know. I learned that somewhere. Somewhere, one of my educational steps, probably a TV show. A TV show told me. Some investigator show. This is definitely adding a more skeleton bone kind of look. A little less fleshy, but still kind of getting the point across, you know? It's kind of interesting. I was looking at, people always ask, what's the best way to paint your minis? And I'm like, some said that painting away from you with the brush. Sometimes I find both ways work. It just depends on what you're doing, but I think they're right. I'm starting to become an avid believer of the paint away from you theory. Painting away just seems to be more steady, more. He's got this weird thing where his jaw is like connected to his chest. I think those are lazy design options. They didn't want to put up a stent between his jaw, so they just said, you know what, screw that, man. Let's just attach it to the chest. We'll let the chest hold up his jaw. I don't want to do it the other way. It's too much work. Not exactly sure. Should teeth be whiter or? I mean, when you're a skeleton, isn't all your bone the same color? It's like I can't. I'm not exactly sure how I should approach the teeth. You know. All right. Well, how's my time going? Oh, it's 101. Kind of reaching into coming to my close point. I did not do Marvel Snap this lunchtime like I did the last few days, and that's just because I was pretty close. I already got distracted by Marvel Snap today and got too much done. I actually, in my previous thing, I was saying, who cares about the ratings, the rankings, the ladder that comes when you hit infinity? And I was like, man, I don't want to be that close to 100,000. So I had to play for a bit, and then I promptly knocked myself into 100,000, and I'm like, okay, well that didn't work. And then I said, well, gotta keep playing. And I played and played and played and played and played. Eventually, I went forward again and got it myself back to. I actually got myself down to like 89,000. I'm like, okay, 89,000 is at least not 100,000. And I'm far enough away that I don't think I'm going to fall that easily in the next few days. But I'll definitely probably play some more, try to push my way back up. I don't know. It's kind of weird because it comes down to the number of cubes, right? So you have to win a lot to get a lot. But if you lose, every time you lose cubes. So you're actually constantly moving up and down. But you think, well, if it counts all the cubes you got to get to 100, you should get them all. It's like, that's not necessarily true because the way you went forward, you realize you only get the number of cubes it is to 100. It's coming out 100 cubes ahead is what 100 cubes is, and that's not even true because you take 3 levels away for each. But if you lose, you could actually hit 100, I think, at less than you think. Okay, so let's just go with the last 10 levels between 90 and 100. If you hit 89 and then you hit 90, you jump to 93. So you only have 7 levels to go. Okay, so how many cubes is that? That's 7. That's 49 cubes or whatever for those levels. But if you were to do bad at start and lose those 3 levels that you jumped over, you're going to actually go backwards 21 cubes. All right, so then you have to push forward, and you push forward. So you push forward to make up those 21 cubes. So going back to 93 actually loses you 21 more cubes. So you still have the 49 cubes to go. So ultimately, you get all the way to the end, and you maybe, you're only going to have the 49 cubes for that 10 levels. You're never going to get 10 levels at every level. So it's like 90, 100 is 7 levels, and it's only 49 cubes worth. But you only get 7 per. So even if you started from scratch and you were the brand new person and you played and you got all the way to 100, you're only going to get 49 cubes per level. So 49 times 10 is about 490 cubes by the time you get there. Now, I don't know if they're giving you, when you get to infinity, and then they reset you back to 23 at each month, they drop you back 30 levels. I don't know if they're giving you those first 70 levels of cubes. Somebody who earns their way from 0 might actually have more cubes than you. But, and you can't lose any, because anything you lose is just made up, so it's just negative. It's cancel outs. But no matter how many times it takes you, or how many months or weeks and days and plays it takes, no matter how many times you win, in your route to getting there, you can only get 49 times 3, which is 120, 140, 147 cubes from 73. So if you get to 100 and they drop you down to 73, you can only get 147 cubes on your way up. And so it's not very many cubes. You can lose a lot and win a lot, but you're never going to get more because you're going backward. If every time you lose cubes. So now ranking changes a lot, but I don't know if that's because it's all based on cubes, but I don't know if it's the cubes you got or the cubes you're working on, right? As in, is there like some special number? Are you, like, if at 95,000, is that 95,000 people ahead of you? So every time you lose, you're just basically falling a certain number of people. You're getting behind them because you have less cubes. But you do fall, so somebody must have lost it since you played, is really what it is. It's not much adjustment happening. But every time you win, you go forward. But you can lose space when you're not playing because there's people on the ladder who are getting their cubes, and they can catch up. So you can't rest on your laurels. That's all I'm saying. Like, oh, I got to 95,000, so I shouldn't have to worry about dropping to 100. No, that's not true. You could still fall to 100,000 if enough people are playing and suddenly doing well. No, I don't think I've done anything for these guys' eyes. They're kind of rough, these guys. As in texture, I'm seeing a lot of texture issues with them. It's not bad. They're not bad looking skeletons. Alright, I think my time's up. Time for me to get back to work. Got lots to do today. Try to get some stuff done because I'm off tomorrow, so I got to be kind of productive. Took on a couple of testing things that I have to do before. What's he got? Does he got something wrapped around his feet? Nope. Kind of looks like he has like a wrap. Keep his feet from falling apart, I guess. Don't know who put those on for him, but... Alright, that's good enough for now. I got one skeleton. Looks a lot better, a lot more skeleton-y. It's got good highlights going. He's almost done. And his buddy's right behind him, so we'll do him next. But for now, that's it. That's it for my speed lunch rush. And as I lunch rushed my way all the way through that guy, just highlighting him. I still got to do his eyes. I still got to work on the smoke a little bit. Smoke's got a ways to go. Not ways. I mean, it's not going to take that long. When I say a ways, it's like, 15 minutes. But these guys are pretty close. Alrighty, so where was I? Stopping the timer. I wonder how much different he looks. I wonder if my pictures will even capture how he looks different. I think he looks pretty good. I think he looks way better than he did, to be honest. But we'll still take the progress photo, because why not? Not a lot of light on this guy, though. There we go. It's a little better. Then we go here. Do a quick crop. Save. Alright, we'll go here and we add them via there. Add. Alrighty. Just the day's worth of work. Maybe some more tonight. Until then, you take it easy.